but also on the enduring legacy he is building for future generations of scholars. This lecture is not just a culmination of his journey. It is a beacon that guides the younger generation towards greater knowledge and understanding. I join you all in congratulating and commending Professor Arvind Santosh for his exceptional contributions to academia and for his dedication to the pursuit of knowledge. Although I will miss the insights he will share today, I look forward to the continued brilliance he will undoubtedly bring to the institution. Congratulations, Professor Arvind Santosh, and thank you for your invaluable contributions to the world of dentistry. Finally, I can proudly say that Professor Arvind Santosh reflects the best of the Indian community in Jamaica. He is truly an inspiration to many. I thank you on behalf of His Excellency, the High Commissioner to Jamaica from India. We will now invite the Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, Professor Minerva Thame, to address us.
Dr. Thean Jones, Head of School of Dentistry and the Chair for this afternoon. In his absence, His Excellency Ran Jung Sung, High Commissioner of India to Jamaica, Professor Santosh, the man of the moment, distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is with great pleasure that I bring greetings at this inaugural professorial lecture of Professor Arvind Rajendra Santosh, a consultant dental surgeon in the field of oral and maxillary pathology and microbiology. He is also the secretary for the International Association for Dental Research, the Caribbean section, and the section editor for the European Journal of Dentistry. The dental program started in September 2010 as a program which was offered out of the Dean's office, where the School of Dentistry was later established in 2017-2018 academic year. Furthermore, this is a 5-year program. It's divided into preclinical and the clinical stage. The school's philosophy centers on developing ethical, empathetic, and professional dentists with a focus on providing care to patients with special needs. In addition, the school has an expansive outreach program of which Professor Santosh is involved. Here, the students, under the supervision of registered dentists, visits community across the island to provide dental treatment. Professor Santosh is a professor of oral and maxillofacial surgery at the Mona campus, and he is a first professor of dentistry, and for this we are extremely proud. He is an avid researcher in the field of dental surgery, oral and maxillofacial pathology and microbiology, where he has published numerous publications and has made extensive contribution to this field. I am sure that we will be in for quite a treat today as he delivers his professorial lecture and shares with us his journey in becoming the new professor. Congratulations, Prof. Santosh. Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Dean Thame. We will now move to a message which also will be read from Professor Santosh's mentor, Professor Ramana Reddy. He too may be on Zoom, but he was unsure of whether he'll be able to overcome the connectivity issues from where he is. So, on behalf of Professor Reddy, his message to us and to Professor Santosh is as follows. Respected dignitaries of the program and the audience, I express my profound joy in response to the great news that Dr. Arvind Babu is promoted as a professor at the University of the West Indies. As a teacher in his yesteryears, I still remember and always take him as an example of the current students for his commitment and diligence in his approach to the academic and extracurricular activities. He has always proved himself as a good student as well. He has also been a good human being. I still remember him bridging the gaps between his senior and junior peers and volunteering himself to organize many outreach programs, camps, and extramural studies involving various other medical specialties. While organizing conferences, I have seen the level of commitment and involvement shown by him and thus contributing to the success of the events of such importance. His hard work and skill sets have taken him to this current position, and I'm sure he will scale even better heights in his academic journey ahead. I would always appreciate his adherence to his roots in trying to frequently get back to us and involve us also in his academic achievements. I wish and bless him ever and pray God to make him even more successful in his future endeavors. Regards, Dr. B. Venkat Ramana Reddy, Principal of the Sibar Institute of Dental Sciences in India. So, on his behalf, Professor Santosh, congratulations. We will now have a message from the sponsor. It may be a little bit delayed as we work through a little technical difficulty. Okay, I've been asked to continue the program, so we'll take it at a later point in today's program. So we are at the point, the highlight of this afternoon's ceremony and lecture, where Professor Santosh will address us. I am not going to introduce Professor Santosh at this time, because having been privy to the contents of his lecture will take us through his introduction. So I now invite Professor Arvind Santosh to address us.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, Master of Ceremonies, Dr. Theon Jones, His Excellency Mr. Masaki Ronsung, High Commissioner of India, Dean Professor Minerva Thane, my mentor, Professor Ramana Reddy, sir, Dr. Ora Toggle, fellow academic colleagues, administrative, technical, and support staff, and the audience who are physically and virtually present. I welcome you all to my presentation. I'll be delivering my presentation on the topic From the Classroom to the World, my oral and maxillofacial pathologist, academic and research journey. As you can see here on the slide, we have around 32 slides as a symbolical representation to say that it's a dental presentation. So let me begin with who is the oral and maxillofacial pathologist. We are the professionals who identify the disease that affect the oral and maxillofacial region and investigate the cause and effect of these diseases. We make one of the team members of the oral disease experts, apart from oral and maxillofacial pathologists, it's the facial max surgeons and oral medicine colleagues. So here's the table of contents. I'll be saying, who am I? My academic foundations, my start at UWI, the research into Mona School of Dentistry, international experiences, the impact that is made to the society, the contributions made to the profession and the field, the challenges faced, and the growths and rewards, inspiring the future generations, the road had to be continued to be explored, and I'll be concluding. I'm an educator specializing in the oral and maxillofacial pathology, a field that is specifically focused on investigation and diagnosis of wide spectrum of oral diseases. While dental cavities and gum infections are commonly known to the general community, my expertise specifically focuses into the broader area. It focuses on oral precancer, cancer, odontogenic cyst, tumors, and the oral manifestations of various medical conditions. Throughout my academic journey, I have been an integral part of School of Dentistry at the Mona campus, serving since its inception. I have had the privilege of teaching dental students from the very first batch to the present day, knowing the understandings of oral and maxillary pathology and its crucial in the patient care. So, to start with my academic foundation, I hold Bachelor's of Dental Surgery from Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences and Master's in Surgery in Oral and Maxillofacial Pathology after NT University of Health Sciences. Both are from India. Today, I'm here to share my 3 stories which shaped my journey. Story number 1, the oral disease. The story number 2, the teacher. And the story number 3, the researcher. In this story, I'm not going to focus on speaking about that particular condition. But you can see the picture, what is happening there. The first significant experience for any undergraduate medical or dental students occurs in the first year of MBBS or BDS program. We will spend a lot of time in our anatomy and physiology. During that period, one of the dental professors from oral medicine department, Professor Tirunirvannan, made a clinical announcement about a live surgery viewing, something like this in the picture here. A patient, what you saw previously, similar to that patient, the male patient who had a massive swelling, that's all I know in those days, in the lower face. And the patient was getting ready to operate by the team of surgeons and pathologists and medicine people. All of the people are there in the part of seminar and in the part of here. So on that day, that particular case was diagnosed with a term called a CEOT, which means a calcifying epithelial ornithine tumor, which is an acronym that like CEOT. The program also named as CEOT, which is like continuing education from the odontology teachers, which means the dental teachers. So what made me to inspire on that day, we had a group of presentations, something about diagnosis and all those stuff. But what inspired me is the 2 special presentations on that day, given by the family members. How that particular disease affected the family, the quality of life, what we call it as in recent days. The younger daughter, who might be around 7 or 8 years old, was saying about she liked to see the father in the normal face. That particular moment, that child's moment, stuck into my mind. Witnessing that case ignited my curiosity and expanded my perspective of dentistry beyond common dental diseases, and made me to focus on something more expansive domain called as oral and maxillofacial pathology. Story number 2, why teacher? On the picture you see Professor late Dr. Naresh Lingaraju. He's my teacher of oral medicine course, and he had a specific way of teaching his course. Those days, I think it was a transition days between the blackboard to the PowerPoint presentations. We had something called as OHP projections, where people used to write on a transparent paper and project it on. He sits next to the projector, and he just speaks about a condition, and usually matches what is written on the slide. But that is not fascinating. He always walks with an album, case album, what we can call it as atlas nowadays. Those case albums are his own patient or his colleague or his friends, which had a signs and terms radiographic features. Talks and he gives an album to move around the table. And when we can actually see what's happening on the patient picture. Some in the 4th row or 5th row. By the time I get an album, because of his teaching style, I started finding out how this symptom might look on the picture. At the end of each day session, he will flip the classroom method, at which I learned recently, flipping sessions. And he will ask one of the students who's interested to speak about what was taught last 5 minutes, and we used to speak about it. His engaging style in teaching left a profound impact on me and became a source of inspiration, ultimately driving my aspiration to become an educator of myself. Story number 3, the researcher. On the picture you see, my professor, my guru, Professor Ramana sir. And you can see various journals, various associations, which he is part of it, Indian and internationally. He's my guide for oral and maxillofacial pathology course. He's really passionate about explaining the research, the present and past research for every single case that comes into the lab, into the pathology lab. He's actively involved in a lot of pathology societies, meetings, conferences he arranges. He does a lot of journal activities and things like that. Almost every day, he spends time reviewing the articles submitted to the journal. He always encouraged me to go through those articles. Sometimes I used to wonder why my professor is giving me something not related to oral pathology. But today, it's really helpful in this program for me. And he used to often give me the feedback why some of the articles should be accepted, why some of the articles should be rejected. This experience ignited me the research importance in our curriculum. One day, I came across a patient slide in my pathology department. The patient was about to undergo a renal transplant. You know that the patients get immunosuppressive drugs. The patient had a small growth in the tongue. Yes, it's in the tongue and it's a small growth. The surgeons biopsied and sent it to the pathology lab. We looked at it. The slide showed 2 types of cancer. One half of the tongue, there is a small different type of cancer. The other half of the tongue has a different type of cancer. So it's basically 2 cancers in one single tissue, which never came in my life until my particular day. And I tried to look at it, what it is. Tried to look at the literature, my textbooks, my library. I could not find much of literature information on it. It's called as biphasic tumors. And you know, as we are empathetic, we will try to find out, is there any vaccines? So I looked at it, those topics like biphasic cancers and cancer vaccine. I could not find a literature. And my professor understood that I'm trying to find a literature, and he put a seminar in it. And I started writing that seminar and turned into paper. The cancer vaccine got accepted in an institutional journal, the first publication. Whereas the biphasic tumors was not accepted in many journals. In fact, it got accepted after I joined the school 2 years later. It took later. And those are my 2 first publications I would call as a cancer vaccine and biphasic tumors. You can see this YouTube video 1 year ago, that is the biphasic tumors. A year ago, one of the professors from Asia, Professor Mandana Dongi, she called me and she asked me, can you present something on a biphasic tumors? Because it seems to be an interesting paper. I said, yes, I will do it. It's my new thing to the YouTube channel. Let me get in there. And I presented it. And for today, it is the most viewed video in that particular channel. I'm very happy to know that that particular topic still has an interest to know about it. So approximately in 2011, when I was about to finish my post-graduation, I started writing, I started finding where they're going to work and all those stuff. I had a special way of finding my job search. I took a map, globe. I took a cancer statistics map and looked at oral cancer data is missing greatly from Caribbean region. So I said, why not we look at this area? Then I tried to look for the school and I searched and I found that UWI. I never knew that it's a Mona campus and St. Augustine campus. We had 2 dental schools. And I tried to write a letter to Dental Council of Jamaica, where Dr. Mark Edwards forwarded my email to Dr. Jones, and I understood that later it got accepted. So despite the embryonic state of Mona School of Dentistry on those days, what made me to choose that I should be here because of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, the amount of research work that is done by MBBS colleagues here. That I feel that definitely can have definitely my future here. So in 2013, I made my journey into UWI. So in 2013, when I came here, I only had 3 publications with a strong goal to become a molecular researcher. And I used to work in the basic medical sciences to look for the PhD programs. And I did understood there is a gap in doing the supervision for the dental aspect. So I said to myself, pause, and it still pause. In a matter of weeks, it became evident that Mona School of Dentistry, the work centered predominantly to the academic and clinical setting, and research is self-driven. So came back to square one, went to Dr. Jones, and asked Dr. Jones, this is a situation, how should we deal with it? Let us make a weekly meeting, one afternoon each week, and we'll try and explore what are the possibilities to network with the campus, with the faculty, if we can do anything outside of the campus, and also ethics process. Today, I am very happy that we have something called a toolkit. In those days, it was not there. So we struggled to find out that. Professor Lindo, John Lindo, he was exceptionally supportive from the day one of dentistry program till today and tomorrow, until he is going to be in the campus or wherever he is. He introduced me to the various laboratories in his department, in the faculty, and everywhere. And he also introduced me to the UWA system. Professor Lindo, I think I was in his diary. He used to always send emails whenever he finds something related to research into dentistry. He sent once new initiative grant. I looked at it, what it is, and I said, okay, let me take this opportunity. We discussed about it. And Professor Lindo said that we can do something with the microbiology and the dentistry department. The research we focused on HP analysis in the salivary samples among HIV patients or non-HIV patients. Professor Chris Fletcher, the Dean, helped logistic matter and told about the process and ethical acceptance. Dr. Georgina Gordon-Strawn, she helped me a lot in about budgeting, which I never knew about a budget on those days. And Professor Barton allowed to work in his department of chairs and School of Dentistry patients. So Dr. Georgina, she explained me the importance of grant writing, how one should focus on grant writing process. And during that time, I came across a pipeline, a message about NIH grant writing seminar, a workshop, which I remember Professor Marvin Reed was chairing in one of the sessions in Grenada. I went to that session, and even to date, I feel it's a very helpful session. I have notes which I made from it, and it helped me in making a grant process. I write it. This is my first paper from the funded projects, which you can see it. Again, I'm not going to go into that details there. The lessons learned from this project, the importance of research collaboration between the members of faculty and our campus, as well as it allowed me to connect with the Caribbean region to explore potential regional collaboration. I did not know about budgeting. I did not know about ethical process, but I understood that getting started is the first key to success. Same time, in 2014, when I went to the NIH grant system, when I went there, a lot of medical colleagues, they had a beautiful forum to interact, to exchange knowledge for the medicine. But as for dentistry, I did not find anything there in the Caribbean. So I was trying to search for it. And I did not find any dental research associations. Let me be very clear. So while attending a dental conference in the United States, IADR, International Association for Dental Research, there was regional developmental committee's presentation. They said that we are looking for countries from the middle and low income countries to start up a sections. So in 2014, when I came back from the conference, why not we will write this proposal. And one criteria is that we have to 10 researchers, but Mona School of Dentistry only had 3 full-time staff members and maybe 1 or 2 researchers here. So we had to get 10 members, and that particular NIH Grant Associate seminar got a contact, and I tried to look at some other colleagues from Spanish-speaking countries and also from Trinidad campus. We formed a team of 10 members, submitted a proposal, and the conference in South Africa in 2014, it got accepted a proposal, and we started a association for the Caribbean section in 2015. After establishing IADA Caribbean section, I then understood that we have another oral health initiative research and more of commercialization and more of social accountability association from the Spanish-speaking country. I was the first person to get almost, I can't say, I'm sorry, I'm not the first person. Professor Rahul Naidu and myself were one of the first few persons to get into that association from the English-speaking countryside. Kohi was very instrumental in developing the grant process for me. They had a grant proposals. We used to sit and review the proposals, and also they had a grant opportunities. From the previous experience, I thought, okay, let us write an external research project, and we have been part of one of the first performing project, external research project. We named a study called a Skin Jing study, Kingston gingivitis studies, smoke car study, smoking in Caribbean study, focusing on gingival disease and periodontal disease, which is outside of my field. But I tried to include a small input of my oral disease aspect, like smoking aspects and collecting the oral disease aspects. Apart from this research, I love writing books and chapters to make it more simple to the students. Alongside my passion of research studies, as I said, I'm an academic writer too, specifically focusing on clinicians, and I understood that we need to hold on to the students also. Hence, I've dedicated some chapters. I would call these two books as my most favorite books because students love those books, especially the oral disease for general dentistry. I'm very happy every time I see students are walking with that book during the final examinations for the final DDS, but not for my course because this is written for the general dentistry and not for the students for oral pathology students. So there is no fruit that can come into your hand without any challenges. I would list 2 challenges here that comes to my mind. You have some passion, you don't have the field members into that area. So we need to find a collaborative interest there. For example, yes, we have a dentistry disease, find a way to collaborate diabetes or gynecology, and we can try to foster our developments. Innovation versus real world impact. What we want, like how nowadays TikTok stories shows, like reality versus expectations. So what we want and what a society needs is totally different. So society needs more of periodontal cavities and things like that. So that is why I gravitate toward those type of research. And more importantly, especially for the MONA researchers, we need to understand about our resources that is available, what we can get it here. And when you're budgeting, we have to understand about the timeline for this, getting to the island. And time constraints. We all are busy with our academic schedules, clinical schedules, and focusing on research is very difficult. But we have to find a way to do it. So getting to the growth, I have around 80 plus peer-reviewed publications. Out of them, 43 are first author, 3 books and 2 chapters, 6 presentations. I count this also, 67. And I have around 100 plus peer review, verified public peer reviews. I actually put this review process. I feel personally that my peer reviewing capacity helped my writing because every time you get an article to review, once you know the concept, you get to see the people's way of writing. You get to see how good to write, or how to adjust our writing. So this particular thing helped me a lot. Although I have many of those publications, these 2 are very close to me because it is more closer to the oral disease aspects. This is another personal thing that I would like to place it here, rewarding growth. Federation Dental International. This is a society almost like 80 years ago. They numbered the tooth, 1 to 32 systems, like different systems. International Dental Journal. From their society, 70-year-old almost. They looked at what we are doing here. They called me and they asked me, can you be a part of a editorial board from the Caribbean? And it's like a 3.3 impact factor. I'm very happy to be there. I believe that this is just because of the association with the MONA School and research activities. So inspiring the future generation, we have 2 approaches. As you all know that the reality is that students want to become clinicians, but we want them to be, some of them to be academicians and researchers. So we have 2 approaches. Approach number 1, as my career progressed, mentoring the students, research became a significant endeavor. Our students are notably passionate about clinical practice and patient care, with research forming only a segment of their curriculum, while many lean towards pursuing master studies. Their focus is not exclusively research master studies, but to the clinical practice. This prompted me to change the direction and pivot, explore avenues within the MSc program or MPhil program. This happened because of Professor Marcel Williams. And today we have achieved 1 student who has completed ethics proposal, and tomorrow we are going to get another student on board for the MSc project. Approach number 2, we're also actively encouraging the Pelican dentists, more dentists who are embarked a career in the government, public, or private sector to channel their clinical expertise into the contributions, into the chapter writing. To give an example, recently I got an invitation to write a chapter on mental health disorders. One of our alumni graduates is working in a Bellevue hospital, and we asked, can you share some of the case stories and we can compile this? Can you write it and put it? I hope this is one of the ways we can inspire them into teaching. And another thing that I like to do that in my practice, in my educational practice, I call upon the students who are into the private practice, who are doing well, who do well in our program, and we call them as an examiners, not for the 5 days examination, for my examiners, as a external examiners, so they can relate it and we can inspire them to slowly channel into our field of teaching practice. So the road ahead, that to be explored, with a renewed sense of purpose, my journey has just begun anew. As I move forward, my aspiration for students and colleagues to remember me as a dedicated mentor, educator, one who nurtured their growth. Expanding the scope of research engagement from MSc projects into the PhD projects. Initiate collaboration between the schools, fostering the multinational and international projects, and seeking avenues for partnership in both clinical and non-clinical research areas. My vision extends to collaborating with medical departments and probably into the DM programs, and to have some oral examination part, oral health part into their DM program. Together, medical and medical educators can tread a path towards a future enriched learning and impactful research. This slide is very special to me. My professional mentor, Dr. Theon John Jones. This is a picture which I got recently from the Teaching Excellence, District Teaching Excellence from CETL unit. I deeply appreciate the freedom. For me, freedom meaning free to do meaningful things, provided by the meaningful initiatives by Dr. Jones. I extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Jones for his unwavering support and offering insights into career development, skill enhancement, networking, and other aspects of professional growth throughout my journey, including today. With his guidance, the journey would not have been this far and memorable. The tips that I like to share for the persons who like to be a future professor in dentistry: please develop a target list and also develop a problem list. Evaluate your target and problem list and identify your academic path. Develop a research niche and try to see what are the tangents from here and focus on what you can do. Continuous learning is a seed. Develop a work agenda for your professorship. Collaborate widely and meaningfully. Demonstrate teaching excellence. Accept and participate in peer-reviewed publications. Service and engagement is most important in UWA School of Dentistry and UWA campus. Persistence in your dream is another important thing. So to conclude my journey from classroom to the world, the professorial journey is not just a product of my efforts, but a collaborative endeavor that encompasses contributions from many individuals. My journey as an educator, researcher, and advocate for oral health has been marked by dedication, networking, scientific collaborations, and relentless pursuit of excellence, from humble beginnings to impactful projections. I have embraced the challenges, fostered the collaborations, and sought innovative ways to advance my career in oral disease. As I look ahead, I am motivated by the vision of students who are empowered with the knowledge, patience, who like to give better care to the community. The road may be winding, but with every single step, we become closer to the realization of healthier and informed society. Thank you for your time in listening to my reflection of academic and research journey. This slide I would like to showcase here because this is not just a chronology of deans here. Professor Horace Fletcher, during this year, my application is reviewed, and he accepted my application through Dr. Jones' support. And I was into the school when Prof. Fletcher was there as a lecturer. Almost at the end of his deanship, my application was supported for the senior lectureship. And when Dean Tomlin Paul came, I became a senior lecturer, and he focused me into the new direction called a social accountability of research. At the same time, my application was also submitted for professorship. And when Professor Minerva Thame came, I respect the call that she gave me and announced that I was a professor when she came in. Thank you all. I hope this presentation inspired you.
So there you have it. The journey, the part he left out was the part that said, I tried to go somewhere outside of India. I sent letters, I tried to contact persons. And one day in that journey, I got that information from Dr. Edwards and said, I'm going to reach out to this gentleman in India. Somehow we clicked on the email and he said he was definitely going to come. And knowing the history of people coming to Jamaica and not reaching, I was saying, okay, maybe he will, maybe he won't. And just the other day, I think we found the email that confirmed that he was definitely going to come. And we both remembered how many years ago that was. He and I cannot believe that 2012 is nearly, next year is going to be what? 11, 12 years. Thank for your mathematicians. And we both can't believe that this time has passed. We have been in offices side by side for all of these years, and it has been a journey. It was one of the most proudest days of my time in this institution when the confirmation came that he had reached to the rank of professor. Because from day one, the journey was set. This is what we had to accomplish, he had to accomplish. And my role, as I tell the students all the time, I'm here to serve. I'm here to see how best I can help the students and the staff. And as Ms. Campbell will know, the motto is promote you out of your job, you decide to stay. Okay? And that is what we try to do. And the testament to Professor Santosh's journey is for all to see in his presentation. I am humbled to be known as his colleague. It has been an honor to know him and to see his growth. And I do know that his family is online. They couldn't travel all the way from India, but I know that they are proud of his accomplishments. He's proud to be known as a son to his parents, a husband to his wife, and his most important part of his journey is his 2 sons. And I know that tonight he will have his own personal celebration with them. And we won't be there, but we know it will be truly a memorable experience. So on behalf of all the members of the School of Dentistry, on behalf of all the deans who you have served, all the professors you have worked with, Professor Pierre is here, who has shared this journey and has helped provide a lot of the guidance that I have used to help Professor Santosh on his journey, to say to all of you, those online, I know Dr. Ogle is online, who is a very close collaborator with Professor Santosh on this journey, as you would have seen in the presentation. So Professor Santosh, well done, sir. And you have our continuous support and our continuous blessings. I will now invite his close research collaborator, Dr. Oret Ogle, to provide the vote of thanks. Dr. Ogle is online, and I will turn this part over to the technical persons, of which I am not.
Should I begin now?
Yes. Yes, Dr. Ogle, okay. You can begin.
Okay. Greetings, Dr. Jones. Greetings to Dr. Jones, who is the chairman of the and have reached the height that he has now attained. Not too many of us have attained a height of professor who work within academic institutions. So this is a big achievement. And Dr. Santosh, congratulations on your achievement. And it was a pleasure traveling part of this journey with you. For those of you who do not know, Dr. Santosh and myself have collaborated on 2 dental books and a couple of book chapters, no articles in particular, but a couple of book chapters. I can't say how many, maybe 3 or 4 book chapters, and being the guest editor of 2 books. So Dr. Santosh, it was a pleasure walking along beside you on this journey, and congratulations on your achievement. Wish to thank all of you who have joined in this ceremony, with Dr. Santosh, thank Dr. Jones, thank the Dean, and all the attendings here. So go on as we go on our way this afternoon. Thanks for joining in, and blessings to everyone. And again, congratulations, Dr. Santosh.
Thank you, Dr. Ogle. Really appreciate the vote of thanks. And as far as the other persons to be thanked, we really want to extend a big thank you to the School of Dentistry team led by Ms. Campbell, Mrs. Martin Harris, who worked with the Dean's office to get this function together. I want to also, as always, thank the MITS team. Without them, none of what we are doing today could be possible. They have come through, as always, no matter how short the notice or how long the notice, the MITS team came through again. Thank the Faculty of Medical Sciences for allowing us to host this event here. I see a couple of our alumni who are here and soon to be alumni, and I want to thank you all for coming. My understanding is that there will be refreshments provided. And how do I direct? You're not here as yet. Okay. All right. So we will be able to close off the session, the ceremony now, and we will now take the word from the sponsor. I think Professor Santosh, who is a technical guru too, will now come and try and resolve the technical issue.
On teeth. 80%.
So, up share. And then reshare now. So, where is it? Okay. Yes, no. Just select the share source. I don't have to. No, select it. Okay. So go back here. Bring up the. Let's hit share zone. Right. Okay. And then share, and you should be able to. We need a password.
80% of bacteria in your mouth aren't even on teeth.
80%?
Colgate Total is different. It fights bacteria in your whole mouth, protecting 100% of your mouth surfaces. Colgate Total, antibacterial protection for a healthier mouth.
So that was our brief word from our sponsor for this afternoon. We thank them for coming on board also with some short notice, but they rallied to the cause based on their relationship with Professor Santosh, and we were really appreciative of that relationship. So again, thank you all for coming this afternoon. For all those who will journey far or journey near, journeying mercies, and we will be guided by Ms. Campbell as to where do we assemble for those of us who are in the lecture theater to have some refreshment. Those on Zoom, you can come and join us now if your schedules allow. But thank you all for joining us online. Professor Santosh is deeply appreciative, and we look forward to his next publication. So thank you again, everyone, and good afternoon.